Ethics and Human Interface 2. Ethics. Ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means habit or character, encompassing the standards of human conduct that society adopts for itself. It represents a set of do's and don'ts that govern human behavior in a social setting. It serves as the foundation for principles of right and wrong, helping to prevent social evils. Ethos acts as a guiding force for individuals, shaping their behavior, choices, and actions in accordance with societal values and norms. Examples of ethics: polygamy, monogamy. Monogamy is the practice of having a single spouse or partner at a time, while polygamy refers to the practice of having multiple spouses or partners simultaneously. In many societies, monogamy is the accepted and legally recognized form of marriage. Monogamy is seen as promoting stability, trust, and commitment within a relationship, and it aligns with the values and norms of many cultures. On the other hand, polygamy has been practiced historically in various cultures and continues to be practiced today in some regions and among certain religious or cultural groups. In some countries, polygamy is legally recognized, while in others, it is prohibited. Ultimately, whether polygamy or monogamy is considered right or wrong is subjective and depends on personal, cultural, and societal values. Homosexuality, LGBTQ+. The LGBTQ+ community is a diverse group of people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning. The community is united by a shared history of oppression and discrimination, as well as a shared goal of achieving equality and acceptance. The ethical acceptability of homosexuality varies widely from country to country. In some countries, homosexuality is illegal and punishable by death, while in others it is legal and same-sex marriage is recognized. In India, for example, though the Supreme Court in a verdict in 2018 decriminalized homosexuality by striking down Section 377, however, same-sex marriages continue to remain illegal and unrecognized by Indian laws. Recently, the Supreme Court made a decision on the much-anticipated case about legalizing same-sex marriage. They dismissed the petitions and took a closer look at the Special Marriage Act, 1954, to thoroughly explore the matter, considering its connections and interactions with homosexuality. Ethics and Human Interface. 31 What are the reasons for advocating the criminalization of adultery? Q.2 Evaluate the arguments both for and against the continued existence of the death penalty, considering its impact on deterrence, justice, and human rights. 4 Beef ban in states. The Indian Constitution under Article 48 of Directive Principles of State Policies provides that the state shall endeavor to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines, take steps to improve breeds and prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves, and other milch and draught cattle. To achieve this objective, over 20 states have enacted legislation that imposes varying degrees of restrictions on the slaughter of cattle, including cows, bulls, bullocks, and buffaloes. This often leads to cow vigilantism and mob lynching. As of July 2021, Kerala, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Manipur and Mizoram have no laws prohibiting cow slaughter. Ethical concepts. 1. Ethics is an end in itself. It is a source of happiness and satisfaction in life, as it enables individuals to live in accordance with their moral values and principles, promoting a sense of integrity and personal fulfillment. 2. Good consequences. Ethical concepts recognize the importance of considering the consequences of actions. Acting ethically involves striving for outcomes that promote well-being, fairness, and the greater good for individuals and society as a whole. 3. Ethics can be absolute or relative. Ethical concepts can be understood from both absolute and relative perspectives. Absolutists. Ethical absolutism is the concept that ethical rules are the same everywhere. It suggests the existence of universal moral principles that apply regardless of the context. For example, non-violence, justice, right to life, etc. Relativist. The relative ethics acknowledges that ethical judgments and principles can vary depending on cultural, societal, and situational factors. For example, freedom of speech, eating of meat, death penalty, capital punishment, etc. 5. Morality. Morality is a system of beliefs about what is right and wrong, good and bad. It is a set of commitments that individuals use to guide their behavior and to make decisions even when they are rejected by others. Example: Australian all-rounder Mitchell Marsh found himself in controversy when Indian fans criticized him for placing his feet on the World Cup trophy. In response to the photo, Marsh asserted that the gesture was not meant to be disrespectful, and he won't mind repeating the controversial act. Example: racism. Wearing the seatbelt while driving, sologamy, euthanasia. James McGill, a lawyer with professional ethics. Santara practice in Jainism. Capital punishment, mass bunk in the college schools. Chauri Chaura incident and withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement by Gandhi in Indian history, etc. 6. Morals. Ethics. Acceptance. With respect to morals, it is individual. The acceptance of ethics depends on group or society. Arises from within. It arises from group or society. Codification. It is not codified. It cannot be codified. Character or conduct. The moral principle reflects the character of an individual. It reflects the conduct of an individual, and the conduct should be right according to the group or society. Private or public. Morals are private. Ethics are public. Q.1 Can you become ethical without being moral? Q.2 Can something that is immoral ever be moral? Why or why not? 7. Law. Reinforce ethical norms, for example equality, liberty law. Cause to develop ethical norms. Example Sati Pratha, Uniform Civil Code. Essence of ethics. The essence of ethics stands for features, significance, benefits, etc. 1. Good life. Ethics is concerned with living a good life, which means living a life that is in accordance with our values and principles. A good life is one that is characterized by things like happiness, fulfillment, and meaning. 2. Society. Peace and preservation. Ethics is also concerned with the preservation of society. This means that we should act in ways that promote the common good and that help to create a just and peaceful society. For example, vacating a seat which is reserved for women by men for women in metro. 3. Subjective ethics. There are no absolute or constant standards of right and wrong. This means that what is considered right or wrong can vary depending on the context. For example, abortion is legal in some countries but illegal in others. This is because there is no single, universally accepted standard of right and wrong when it comes to abortion. 4. Voluntary action. Ethics is about making choices that are based on our values and principles. These choices should be made voluntarily, not because we are forced to make them. For example, we should not lie to someone just because we are afraid of what they will say or do if we tell the truth. 5. Ethics is not a religion. Ethics is not based on any religious beliefs. However, religious beliefs can sometimes influence our ethical beliefs. For example, a person who believes that all life is sacred may be more likely to oppose abortion. 6. Ethics is not a law. Ethics is a set of principles that guide our behavior, but it is not a law. This means that we are not legally obligated to follow ethical principles. However, we may still choose to follow ethical principles because we believe that they are the right thing to do. 7. Improves thinking, perspective and judgments. Ethics can help us to improve our thinking, perspective, and judgments. This is because it encourages us to think about the consequences of our actions and to consider the rights and interests of others. For example, if we are considering whether or not to lie to someone, ethics can help us to think about the potential consequences of our lie and to consider whether or not it is the right thing to do. 8. Helps in decision making. Ethics can also help us to make better decisions. This is because it provides us with a framework for thinking about the different options available to us and for evaluating the potential consequences of our choices. For example, if we are faced with a difficult decision, Ethics can help us to identify the different options available to us and to weigh the potential consequences of each option. 89. Contextual. Ethics is contextual, which means that what is considered right or wrong can vary depending on the context. Example, surrogacy laws. Determinants of ethics, factors that shape the ethical standards and behavior of people. These factors can include our culture, religion, personal values, experience, and reason. Basis on which people decide what is right and wrong. One time, our ethical standards can change over time, as we learn new things and experience different situations. For example, the Bengal Sati regulation, which banned the Sati practice in 1829, was a reflection of changing ethical standards in India. To experience, our experiences can also shape our ethical standards. For example, the Kalinga War, a battle that changed Ashoka forever, led him to adopt a more peaceful approach to life. 3. By deliberations and debate, ethical standards can also be shaped by deliberations and debates. For example, the right to privacy is a complex issue that has been debated for many years. For changing social situation, our ethical standards can also change as the social situation changes. For example, the various sects of Buddhism and Jainism developed in response to the changing social situation in India. 5. Keep changing with person. Our ethical standards can also change as we go through different stages of life. For example, at times fear of punishment as student duty to work as an adult. 6. Cost-benefit analysis. Our ethical standards can also be shaped by cost-benefit analysis. For example, a utilitarian approach to ethics would weigh the costs and benefits of different actions in order to determine what is the right thing to do. 7. Political, economic and social power. It often lays down ethical norms for a society. Example, Rohingya issue in Myanmar, Sadhguru, influence on people, etc. 9-8. Constitution and law. The constitution and law can also shape ethical standards. For example, the fundamental duties in the Indian Constitution outline certain ethical obligations that all citizens have. 9. Tradition and culture. Tradition and culture can also shape ethical standards. For example, in some cultures, it is considered wrong to eat certain foods, while in other cultures, it is considered perfectly acceptable.